we're going to be doing a quick unboxing. Now, this is the second time I unboxed this. The first time my video was shot on the wrong format, so let's be surprised together and see what's inside. So this is the basic Leatherman belt pouch that you get. You have the belt loop here, and just keep it on your side for quick and easy access when you're outdoors. Comes with the instruction manual. Now, there's really not much to the instruction manual. It kind of overviews your warranty, a brief history of Leatherman and the company, and a bunch of different features. Now, it is a generic page. It's got all the different brands of Leatherman on here to give you a breakdown of everything. Just something to review. Now, I did purchase this one from a outdoor store called Sale, and I paid a pretty penny. It's $189.95 Canadian dollars, so about 140 US dollars. Now we are greeted with the absolutely stunning multi-tool. So comparative to a knockoff, this is a Handyman brand, kind of a basic one that you'd find on Amazon for $40. Immediately you can feel the quality difference. Now, the Leatherman probably weighs 25% lighter, however has 50% more usable features, more tools, more functionality, more interchangeable parts on it. One of the main things that you'll notice on the Leatherman is the fact that it's actually not spring-loaded, which I thought it would be. I don't know if that's considered to be a premium option or not, but like this one just bounces right open, which is nice if you're trying to do something kind of one-handed, whereas this, you'd have to almost re-pry it open with your fingers. So that's the only part that kind of caught me off guard there. So, continuing on, if you look at the cutters on the Leatherman, you'll see there's a little Torx bit there because those are interchangeable. So it is a different material. So if you do wear those out over time, which inevitably will happen, you have the ability to interchange them. Whereas on the lower end models, that is a rivet. Now it's a different material, yet a rivet still. So you'd have to drill it out and you'd never find a replacement. Continuing on, with the Leatherman closed, one of the features with more modern day multi-tools is the ability to access the knife directly while it's in the closed position, which is great. It gives you the functionality of a pocket knife while having the other capabilities of a multi-tool. Now, a lot of the more modern knockoffs also offer that. If you were to compare the two blades here, the Leatherman is substantially thicker. It's probably 30% thicker. Exact same length. If we measure those quickly, I believe they are, yeah, they're a 3-inch blade, just like a standard pocket knife. Now, closing it up, the other side, we have the saw blade. Now, this saw blade is about, is it 3 inches? Yeah, 3 inches exactly. But if you were to compare it to well, that's a file, saw blade over here, you can see that there's a substantial size difference. Now, don't know how that matters when you're out in the field. I would probably argue that the shorter the blade, the less likely you are to break it. I feel like this could flex a little bit too much and you could potentially snap it off in a position that you're not wanting to do that in. So continuing on, when we do open up the Leatherman, one area that I also really like is there is a belt loop or a belt clip on this one. A lot of the lower end ones don't seem to have that. Like I have the belt clip on this, which is very usable. But on the inside here, if you push this little clasp back, you then pop out this piece. There is a flint striker and a built-in whistle, which is quite loud. It actually sounds a little bit like a fire alarm. So I don't know if that's good or bad or indifferent. And then you just pop it back in there, locks in position so it's not going anywhere. On the other side, we have a can opener, we have an awl, which from the research I've done, these are kind of a redundant feature on multi-tools. You could maybe sew some thick leather material with it. You'd put your thread through there, you'd push it through, and then you'd be able to feed it through and continue sewing. Over here we have, which I think is really cool on this one, is a flat blade, but you can pop it out and spin it around, and then you get your Phillips, I think it's a number 2, which is kind of your most common Phillips screwdriver that you'd be using. On the back here is actually the release for it, so that'll stay open nicely when you have the tool closed. You don't have to worry. Actually, it does bind up with that, so that's going to be a bit of a awkward, maybe have it open like this, like a screwdriver. So you just click that clasp, lower it down, and then flip her closed. Now, on the other side is a knife sharpener. So if you push down this clip and then force this back, it pops out. And then you would utilize that with the knife. So this is a diamond tip. It's kind of hard to see, but there's diamond dust on there, and that helps with the sharpening. So you could run it through at a 45 on your blade, or you could run it through the actual grooves to sharpen up your serrated edge, which can be utilized for cutting paracord, rope, anything that requires just a little bit extra, almost sawing force where the saw would just bind up. So then that will go back in here. And then you just lock it in place and it's good to go. So one of the other cool features is on this side of the knife, there is a bit. I'm not sure the exact size of it, but it works perfectly if you have a kind of like a little bit set. Just open it up. In this case, I got a Torx bit. Drop it in, and then you can utilize this as a extended, almost like a pry bar type thing. You can also add an extension. Now, Leatherman actually do sell this right from their website, ratcheting version. But one thing that I do know for both of them is that these do not stay in place. So if I were to put it in like this, it's going to just fall out. So I've seen a bunch of other people take like a small piece of, let's say, tape like this, and then they kind of jam it in place, and then that allows it to stick. So that's one little thing I think they could have incorporated something a little bit better on, but something that is definitely livable. Continuing on, we have a carabiner, which would allow you to hook this onto your backpack, onto your bicycle, onto a piece of luggage, or even your belt, so you can have quick access and you know it's not going anywhere. On this side, we have a little tab that you can flip down to lock the knife into position, so it will not open. I really like this feature because on this knife, for example, I've had these things open up, and one that had the knives inside, I had one open up and I almost cut my thumb off because the knife opened up on me in my pocket when I wasn't expecting it to. So that is a nice added safety feature. So next we are going to try the flint starter. Now I've done this once before, as you can see by the remnants on my brand new table, but we are going to try it again. So in here, you would just pop this latch back, pop out the whistle and or flint starter, close it back up. And because it is winter here in Toronto and it's about -15 right now, I don't really want to go outside. So I'm going to set up with a bunch of just paper towel for now. We'll leave this here. Now, if you are starting with flint, you always want something that's kind of fluffy, airy for the ambers to get caught in, so that it can start it nicely. And you'd obviously want to have your kindling or something else that's flammable to continue the fire and keep it growing. So we're going to use the back of the saw blade and give her one nice shoot. And look at that. First try, we have fire. And you would then continue on with something like this to build your fire further, but we're not gonna do that because I'm gonna set my smoke alarm off. And just like that, we had a fire, nicely cleaned up, and we are going to put the flint starter back in place. Now, they say you can get, I think it was like 100 fires started with this. I wouldn't be using this as your primary fire starter. I would be using this as an emergency only tool. As you can see, I've actually, as I struggle to get that in, I've only used it twice, and it's already flattened down the flint starter. You can actually see that the rounded edge is gone. But it works. It does its job, and yeah, it's quite actually tedious trying to get this unit in here. So I'm not going to struggle anymore. This is the full review. No, that looks terrible. We got to get it back. There we go. It's so cold, my fingers. There we go. So that was the full review and comparison of the Leatherman Signal with all of its features and glory. Hope you liked the video. Please comment, like, and subscribe.